All right, great. So here we are again, and this time we're all on the screen. So everybody say hello.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, so this is number 3 in our 4-part series, and today Caroline is going to be leading the discussion and talking about the colon. She's going to be doing a conversation in the beginning, a lecture, and then a demonstration. So I just want to remind everybody a little bit about how Zoom works. When Caroline shares her screen, you can actually change the size of what she's presenting and the size of her as she's talking just by grabbing the bar that separates the two. And if that bar is not there, you can go to the top and click the drop-down menu and ask for your screen to be split. And that way you can actually bring her side to side so you can see better. And Kailash and Lalita and I will be, managing questions and chatting in the chat. But we do ask if you have really good questions that you want to have part of the discussion to put them in the questions, and we'll bring them up at the end. So does anyone else want to say anything before I pass it over to Caroline? No?
Welcome, everybody.
All right, great. So I'm going to pass it over to Caroline and let her start doing the talking. Thank you.
Well, hello, and thank you for joining us today. I want to talk about one of my favorite topics, and you who know me or you have come to the Institute know how much I love to talk about the colon. Beyond the colon, even though some people don't want to talk about this pipe that's inside us, I want to talk about its connection to the immune system, since that is what we all realize we need to focus on right now, no matter what, okay? Especially with this virus and any virus, any bacteria. This is the most important thing you can do, is to start to learn to take care of yourself. So we're gonna start off with this hot word right now, called, the word is microbiome. And this is a word that's become very popular recently, and I wonder, if you really understand what it is really, it's a gallery, a huge amount of different, trillions of virus and bacteria and fungi all over our bodies, inside and outside, right? On our hands, especially though in the orifices, the eyes, the nose, the ears, the body parts, but the biggest population of them, and the one I want to talk about today, is the one in the large intestine. And so this area, the microbiome, is loaded with bacteria, both good and bad. And so we want to get past any idea that bacteria is bad first, that there is so much good bacteria working for you. Lalita mentioned it last week, that you have this good bacteria that is there to really be like an army for you, and it's a defense. And your immune system is living within this bacteria and communicating. This bacteria starts off in you at birth. They're realizing now even in the womb, but really when you're born is when you get your first wash, when you come out of your mom, of bacteria. And hopefully your mom has a lot of good bacteria, but a lot of people start off with too much bad. So there's a balance, right? And the balance, I think I even mentioned it last time I say it in all my classes, is not a 50-50 good, bad bacteria. It needs to be 80% good bacteria and 20% bad. So again, we are full of bacteria. I mean, I read something recently like we have more bacteria in us than people on the planet. Okay, so we are actually more bacteria than human cells. So what do we do? What do we need to do to keep that good bacteria going? Because that good bacteria is our defense, is our immune system's response to deal with stuff. It also helps us digest. It also helps us with our hormones. I mean, it's everything for us, is this good bacteria, okay? It also regulates our sleep, because, you need the hormones to sleep. It also deals with our moods. So really, for to make you happier, to make you healthier, you need to understand how important good bacteria is. So lots of things kill our good bacteria, you know, and I'm just going to brush across it, and you know what they are. I mean, when we wake up in the morning, if you wake up in the morning, you drink coffee, you are not doing good things for your good bacteria. You're actually helping the bad bacteria, because the good bacteria likes an alkaline system. So this is why we're going to promote a nice glass of wheatgrass juice or a green juice or water with lemon in the morning. All right. And so anyway, the bad bacteria, they love coffee, and they love pizza and a piece of bread, and they love sugar. They thrive on sugar. So the thing is, when we want to create good balance of that bacteria in our system, we have to live a certain kind of way. And this is where, you know, Ann Wigmore brought up the lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's not just one thing to do, as Kailash mentioned last week. It's many things to do. It's a whole way of living. Okay, so I made a chart, and this chart is coming soon. It's a chart that's going to show you things to do to have a healthy colon. Because what I want you to understand is the majority of a lot of your lymph system and your immune system is in and around your colon. There's lymph nodes, but there's also all this good bacteria. Okay, so if you look at the top with me, you see living foods. Now I'm going to make you look at half the chart right off the bat between hydration, living foods, cultured foods, and fiber. This is all things we consume, correct? So this I'm going to go over together. And then we're going to talk about the other part, which is physical, the movement, the position of your body. And then we're getting into emotions. And the last thing is, what is it? Relaxation. I'm sorry. So relaxation, these two things we're going to talk about too. So let's start. I'm going to start with living foods, but it's pretty much going to encompass the hydration, the cultured foods, and the fiber. But I'll go over each one with you. Okay? So the living foods, you know, lifestyle per se, is the thing is that it is rich with minerals. Okay, it has so many minerals, and it has so much nutrition and vitamins also. It is high in enzymes. It is high in chlorophyll. It is high in fiber, and these are all things you need to have a healthy colon. All right, we're talking about the colon because this is where your immune system really is mostly. All right. So to have a healthy colon, you need healthy food. And the food has to be high in antioxidants. It has to be high, like I said, in minerals, and the enzymes keep it alive. You also, we're going to talk about in a moment, cultured foods, and that is part of the living foods. That is what's going to help put more good bacteria in your body. Okay? So the thing with the living foods is that when you have food that's alive, like the food that is living foods, you will feel more alive. Your colon will work better. You will get better, easier absorption, right? Because it's easy to digest food. So we do things like blend our food. We do things like sprout or activate all our seeds. And this also will make for good, good absorption, good digestion, and also good elimination, right? So also we ferment food, and we're going to talk about that in a moment with the cultured food. This lifestyle, you know, the food part is high in chlorophyll. We suggest low glycemic fruits. When people come to Ann Wigmore, or we do our programs otherwhere, or we help you, we're not going to be promoting a lot of fruit because fruit has a lot of sugar, and most people are really out of balance in their gut. I hate to break it to you, but most people have a lot of stagnancy and a lot of buildup, right? A lot of residue. And so they really need a good cleanse. And that's what I want to talk about more towards the end. So let's go to the second piece of the pie. So look at the chart again, and I'm going to put it up. If you want to take a picture of it, you can take a picture of it, or you can draw it. The second part is cultured food in the yellow. So the cultured food is food that's fermented. And I'm not talking about wine. I'm not talking about vinegar. I'm not talking about pickles, because a lot of the pickles, and they have a lot of salt and vinegar, and this is all acid forming. So this is the kind of acid we want, is that we ferment things. We ferment cabbage specifically. We do make a Rejuvenex out of quinoa, but more and more recently, quinoa isn't sprouting, and we are relying mostly on our cabbage Rejuvenex. So the cabbage Rejuvenex, I'm going to make that for you today at the end of this. And cultured foods bring probiotics to your body. It's the good bacteria. Now you wouldn't, I'm telling you it's good for you, but you wouldn't then have your diet, your main, what you eat, be mostly fermented foods, right? Think about that. Just a little bit at breakfast, a little bit at lunch, a little bit at dinner. It helps digestion. It helps elimination. It helps absorption. It does so much for you. This has so much vitamin C in it, vitamins A, high in minerals. This kind of food is the food that your ancestors ate, or most of you would not be here today, all right? This is the food that when we do our classes at Wigmore, we talk about that they built the wall of China, and they had big vats of sauerkraut for the people who built it, probably the men. And this gave them so much energy, right? So, excuse me. So it's very important that you find ways to make yourself a sauerkraut. If you do our online program, we teach it. I'm going to teach you a liquid version, which is a drink, right, in a little bit. And this is going to really help you feel better, help you digest, okay, and give you energy. Again, it helps balance the microbiome, this kind of thing. So the cultured foods are a must. And again, not a huge amount of it, but little bits throughout the day. Okay, so let's go back to our pie again. And so this is a part of the living foods. Another part of the living foods is fiber. So you need more fiber than most of you are getting. And it's soluble and insoluble, both kinds of fiber. The fiber is what that I want you to get, goes along with the hydration, but the fiber needs to be like fiber from vegetables, fiber from microgreens, lettuces, fiber from carrots, sure. A little bit of fruit for sure, but the amount of fiber that you want a day, most people don't get. This is the broom for your colon. This is what keeps your colon clean. This is also what feeds the good bacteria, right? You hear the other hot word, prebiotics, right? People are going probiotics and prebiotics, and they're getting jars and supplements, and you know what? I don't believe that all that stuff gets in you and maintains a good flora in your gut. You have to do it with what you eat. Because as much as you have, if you do finally get yourself a good balance, a good flora, a good intestinal microbiome, you can throw it all out of whack within a few days again. So, Lalita always mentions what is health, and health is balance. And it's finding this balance in your life. And believe me, we all are ebbing and flowing, but we don't want to be all the way out here and all the way over there. We got to find a way to find the balance, right? And so the fiber that you eat needs to be a good amount of fiber that helps groom out your colon every day. And it's really something like energy soup, which we mentioned last week, or these green smoothies that I made for you last week, that you can put so much sunflower greens, baby spinach. One of you said pea shoots would be a great one. And when you fill your body up with this good, healthy fiber, it helps maintain a very good balance in your gut and helps maintain the microbiome in a healthy way, okay? So, fiber, super important. I'm gonna go back a little bit in my circle to the hydration part that's before the living foods, that nice kind of aqua-y color. And so I'm completing half the circle in the hydration. Now, the hydration is really important. Most people are very dehydrated. And you'll say, I don't understand, I drink a gallon of water a day. Now, that's one aspect of how you get hydrated. You definitely need, we tell people, at least half your body weight in ounces, right? So half your body weight in ounces to drink. That would be liquids, water with lemon, green juices, a little bit of Rejuvenex. We usually tell people 2 glasses a day of Rejuvenex would be great. If you make herbal tea, you have to watch out. I wouldn't overboil. I wouldn't cook the herbs. You can, Lisa used to say, you can just soak parsley and some herbs in the water and put them in the sun. We do that with hibiscus sometimes. Lemongrass is a great thing to do it with. So this is liquid that you drink. But I want you to have a good amount of hydration in your colon. And I want you to think about this. The water you drink, does it make it to your colon? Where does that go? What makes it into your colon? You know what goes into your colon. Whatever you eat, you chew it up, Think about the system. It goes down through your stomach, through your small intestines, right? And it gets absorbed, most of it. Although then you have fiber that doesn't get absorbed. And it goes down and into the cecum, which is the first part of the colon. This is where tons and tons of good bacteria are supposed to live. This is where your appendix hangs off. And this is an area that is full of microbiome action, good, healthy, good bacteria, to then help this fiber move up and around. Now, if this fiber is dry, coming from flour products, coming from pasta, crackers, all that stuff that I know we love, because all the bad bacteria say send it down, you have to do things better for yourself, like eat salads, blend salads. That's our energy soup. And that creates fiber, but with structured water. This is a key word. I love it what Lalita talks about it so much, structured water. The structured water is what gets absorbed in your colon and what hydrates your body and what keeps your colon clean. Microgreens are loaded with structured water. If you take, I had a great harvest last night of sunflower greens. Thank you, Kailash. And we put it in there and we ground it all up. And you see so much liquid. It's amazing. And that's the kind of hydration I'm talking about. I want you to really start to think about you eating your breakfast and when you're eating your lunch and when you're eating your dinner. How much water is in the food? I'm not talking about the glass or the liquid. You shouldn't even drink water while you're eating because you're gonna water down your enzymes and your digestive juices. But what is in how much water, hydration is in your food? Think about that, because what we don't want is to have stagnancy in our gut. We don't want sticky, gooey things like wheat. Pasta, I tell people all the time, pasta is glue. Paper mache pasta, same recipe. Do you know what I'm saying? It just sticks to the side of the walls of your colon, and then it will stay there for a long time. It really will. Believe me, I never thought that I'd become a colon therapist. I came here as a student and I became a colon therapist, and sometimes I'd say, why is this my job? And now I realize every day more and more, for me to see what I've seen coming out of people's colons and watching my own colon go through what it's done, you really understand what's going on in that colon and how stuff can get stuck and how old things are and how good people feel when that comes out. What we really want to do is help you create a new and healthy and strong microbiome, one that has a diverse amount of bacteria, that has more of the good bacteria than the bad, and that you will feel good and resistant, and you'll feel happy, you'll sleep good, your skin will glow. All these things are for you. And Wigmore always said, it's your birthright to be healthy. And she believed you could do it naturally, and so do I. You don't need supplements to do this. What you really need to learn, and what we all need to learn and then put into action, is how to live a healthy lifestyle, how to eat healthy, how to maintain that health, how to deal with stress, right? Because stress is actually one of the #1 things to just make your immune system freeze and not work. All right? So let's move on now. We're halfway through our circle, right? Because I went and did talk about hydration. So after the fiber comes what? What did I put? Excuse me for a minute. So the next thing in our circle after the fiber is the movement. And I'm not talking about BM, bowel movements, although that is important too, of course. I'm talking about moving your body. Most people, it's a truck. Most people are sitting a lot. They're sitting in front of the computer, they're sitting on the train, they're sitting on the bus, they're sitting in their car, they're sitting so much. And this position is actually really unhealthy to do a long time because it cuts off the circulation of your bottom and upper part of your body. And this is where your lymph nodes are in the bottom of your colon and your sexual organs are. What is really important every day is that we shake our body and we move like we did when we were young. I'm not talking about you have to go to the gym and pump. That's good too, but really a brisk walk, some jumping on the trampoline, some jumping jacks, some dancing, whatever it is, to move your body, all the parts, every day, many times, not just, oh, I did my workout for 15 minutes and now I'm done for the day. No. The lymphatic works like this. The lymphatic system, which is in and around your colon mostly, I mean, Lalita had a diagram of it. Kailash talks about working on part of the immune system right here, the lymphatic system. You want to move this part of your body at least every hour for a couple minutes. That means if you're going to sit in an office or you're going to sit and do your work, you need to get up and jump a little bit, dance a little bit, stretch a little bit, move your areas of your body almost like African dances. These people knew that this was doing good for them. It's not just for fun, right? It does two things. It moves the energy. It stops stagnant of your gut, which will actually help the stagnancy of your mind, moving energy so you can become happier, okay? So when the movement, we suggest a trampoline. I'm not talking about those big ones that the kids go out on. We have these little ones, and there's some really good companies out there making them, and they're with bands like Belicon. We have one from Czechoslovakia. Anyway, these trampolines, you just bounce. This morning, I didn't do mine this morning. I just bounced a little this morning. Yesterday, I worked up to 15 minutes, but that's more of an aerobic. But just bouncing 2 minutes, all right? If you have a major illness, just 1 minute. 1 minute, maybe 6 times a day. Just a light pump, okay? This is utmost importance to have a healthy colon, which equals a healthy immune system. Let's look at the next thing. The next thing goes along with this. I'm talking about position. What position is your body in most of the day? So I have 2 parts to this pink piece of pie. First of all, what position are you in? Think about that with the movement, how important it is. Things like yoga that open up the body, where you have the reverse poses. Things like child pose to pull in and breathe. These are very important poses that were made by the masters, all right? This was not just done for spiritual evolution. This was done for health, and the two go together. When you move your body in postures and you stretch and you bring your arms up and down and you open your body, you're moving the lymphatic system, and it is the most important thing you can do for your body every day. The other thing I want to talk about really quick is, what position do you poop in? Yes, I asked you. Can you believe I asked you? All of you. How do you poop? Do you sit and poop? Because it's very important that you squat. So you have to get a little stool under your feet, and you got to bring your knees up, or you got to find a way to get right up there and squat, okay? Because what this does is, I hope I'm making some of you smile and laugh. It brings your knees up, supports the colon, and pushes it into the proper position of going to the bathroom. This is the right position. It means sitting like this is not good for your colon and not good for your immune system. You will strain yourself. You will stretch out your colon. So start to squat. Get a little stool, put it under your feet when you sit on the toilet, and squat down in there and breathe. Okay? Enough about position. But get to it, all right? Get a stool in your bathroom. Next. So we're moving right along to emotions. This is a big one. What do you call this? Besides your colon, you call it your gut, right? How do you feel in your guts? What's your gut feeling? Listen, the colon is totally connected to your emotions. When you feel something, you don't feel up here. You feel in here, coming from, oh, I feel so happy. Oh, I feel scared. Oh, I feel guilty. Oh, I feel nervous, maybe even nauseous. They all connect because you have all these nerves connected to your colon. And the good bacteria and the bad bacteria are all working together, sending information up and to your brain. I think this is the first brain. This is the second brain. This receives the messages from here, all right? And so when you feel nervous and anxious, when you're angry, when you're hurt, right away, you have to deal with these emotions. If you're not in the state of forgiveness, if you're not in the state of letting go, you will be emotionally constipated. And this is not a good place to be. I'm sure you know. We all have been there. We're almost raised as a society to be that way. So what I want to do today is talk to you. I want to talk to you about this whole pie, how every piece of this is important. The emotions are super important. You could be eating great or working out, drinking enough water, but you're not dealing with your emotions, and that will disrupt your immune system. That will disrupt the flow of your colon, and that will stop you from moving through and forward in life. It is really important to forgive. Who's the first person you can forgive? Forgive yourself. Secondly, think about forgiving other people in your life. Think about forgiving big things, society. Think about forgiving people that you think you can't forgive, because that is going to heal you from the inside out. All right? So things like guilt, fear, and worries, we need to let them go. We need to be in the moment, right? And we need to really focus on nature. We need to focus on what is good in our lives, making lists of what we're grateful for, right? Okay, let's move on. I could go on forever with that part. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about in this circle, to have a healthy colon, healthy immune system, healthy microbiome, is relaxation. And, you know, I want you to think about this. That colon is, you know, that colon is 5 or 6 feet long, depending on how big you are. I mean, I realize that Lalita and I walk together. I'm like a foot taller than her. I probably have a colon that's a foot longer. It depends how big you are, how big your colon is. But everyone has a colon 5 to 6 feet long. And guess what? It is that wide. It's like 2 inches wide. It has a lot of space to hold stuff. It's a muscle. It's a muscle like this. So if you don't use it, and you don't bounce, and you don't move your body, it will lose its tone. And when it loses its tone, it can become stagnant. It won't work. On the other hand, it can also become spasm and tight. Just like the muscles, some of us get tense here, some of us back here, some of us hold in different muscles, and it's a muscle. And so this muscle can just tighten. So next week, we're going to have a beautiful time with Kailash relaxing. And you need to start putting that into your life in any aspect. Like Kailash said, in the morning, in the evening, in the middle of the day, stop. Take some really deep breaths and think of that muscle inside your body softening, relaxing, softening, relaxing. When you relax your body, your immune system works the best. When you feel joy, when you're laughing, when you're connecting with nature, connecting with people, that feeling is going to feed your immune system and make you strong. It is so important that we relax, just as important as drinking. And I'm going to add something to relaxing, taking some time to rest. And that's what this virus is really making us do. I hope you're all taking time to just lay on your bed and rest. And the third thing is getting enough sleep. We all need enough sleep. And we all do not need 10 hours sleep, but sometimes you do if you're not well. But you really need 6, 8, 10 hours sleep. Some people, when you eat this diet, when you eat this way, you end up with only needing about 5. But no matter what, a deep sense of sleep is going to help the body restore itself. That's when the organs in the colon are preparing themselves to do their job every day. Sleep is as important as drinking water, as important as eating well, as important as feeling connected with your community, nature, being positive with emotions. So, what do you think? What do you think of my pie? Maybe even you have some other good things to put in this pie. I want you to look at it, and I want you to think about changing your life, and I want you to think that if you do all these things every day, you eat well, you get a little cultured food. This is an antidepressant, this cultured food, by the way. Fiber every day, movement, activity in your body, dance, everything. You move your body. You have good positioning. You're not sitting all day and you're pooping with a stool. And you have positive emotions, positive thoughts also, because those two go together. You have a sense of relaxation, or you know how to relax yourself. You're getting enough sleep and you're hydrated. What will happen to you? You are going to feel like $1 million, all right? And this is what is all for you. You should be feeling like $1 million, and it just takes this. Now, one more thing I want to get to before I finish and show you how to make Rejuvenex is this. You can start this, but you know what everybody really needs is a cleanse. So when you just start doing this, it's all good, you know, and look at that diagram, and you know that is a wonderful change to just start doing these things. But everyone needs time to take that they actually cleanse their bodies. That's what we invite people to come to Wigmore for, to put away your cell phones, put away your work, put away your brain, the top brain, and get into that other brain that I'm talking about, the colon. And this is where you actually need to cleanse. I'm not going to get into it today, but all of you could use some enemas. Yes. I'm here to tell you, you all could use some enemas, and I don't mean one enema. I mean a series of enemas and or colonics to release all that old unhealthy microbiome and start to put in a new. That's when we have people come here, and that's what they do. At the same time as eating the food to nourish their bodies, the food is cleaning them out, and they're also doing some enemas. Enemas are ancient, guys. Look them up. They were done way before time is written. This is Egyptian times. Enemas were healing everything. It's an emotional release. You say when you do an enema, I let go of all this fear and worries. Don't be afraid to do an enema, but I'm going to be putting out a video one day soon to show you really how to do a sacred one, a very loving one, and you will feel so good, but you have to put the good food in you at the same time. You don't want to do an enema and put bad food in, an enema and bad food. So anyway, for lack of time, because you know I'll keep going, is I want to really show you how to make Rejuvenex. Rejuvenex is a wonderful probiotic drink. I'm going to make it with cabbage. I have beautiful red cabbage full of antioxidants, all those colors, and is one of the best things that you can give to your colon and your microbiome and your immune system. All right? So give me a minute as I move into the kitchen, and I'm going to put up the recipe. The recipe for the Rejuvenex is coming right now. So you can take a picture with your phone, you can write it down, and I'm moving into the other room. So come on with me to the other room, and I'll be right with you. You guys all see it, right?
Yeah, we do. Thank you, Caroline.
All right, so I'm moving into the other room.
And just while we're on this little short interlude, there's a poll that I'm going to launch, and if people can just fill that out, I really appreciate it. And while we come back to the second portion.
And here, we're going to put her.
Are you there, Caroline? Are you back?
Great. You got me? You hear me?
Yeah, I almost do. I'm about to end the poll.
Okay.
If everybody can fill it out, and then we can go straight to you. All right, I'm going to end the poll, but thank you everybody who did participate. I think people are still doing it. Perfect. Yeah, so you are not on the screen. Let me get you back on the screen. And
I'm here with my cabbage.
yes, I see you're there with your cabbage. You're back on the screen. Looks lovely there.
Yes. I want to take a minute to thank my husband for the wonderful lighting job and the technical support and emotional support. Yeah. So, and I want to take a moment to wish Marie-Louise out over in Europe a very happy birthday today, and I hope she's with us. She told me she'd come. I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to show you this recipe. This is on the internet. I've seen it. I saw Dowlot. He had a great recipe, Dr. Dowlot and several other people. But I'm going to do it my way. It's very similar. That's all you need, and you saw it on the recipe, and I'll show you the recipe again at the end, is you need cabbage. And I want you to get organic cabbage, because the non-organic cabbage is not good. It's kind of like the lettuce and broccoli. It's on that dirty dozen list. It's something that definitely should be organic. So what I have here, I'm doubling the recipe that we give people, because when you do half of what I'm going to tell you, you only end up with a little bit. I want you to end up with a good 6 cups, because I want you to be able to drink a glass or 2 a day, right? So what I have here is 6 cups of chopped, you see it? Chopped organic red cabbage. You can do it with the greenish, whitish cabbage, or you can do it with the red. Either one is fine, all right? You can even mix them, and then you get like a pinkish color. Okay, so 6 cups of chopped cabbage, and then you'll need 3.5 cups of water. So I have my 2 cup filled up to the top with another half and another cup. And so remember that 6 cups cabbage chopped, 3.5 cups water. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. Now the only other thing you need is a glass jar. I have this as a hat that I love that Lalita for me invented this. I could wear it, no, but I won't do that. I'm gonna put it on at the end and keep it that way, or I will seal this up because it does not need air. A lot of people don't do Rejuvenex because they say it smells, and there is a smell. So what you can do is you make it and you're gonna put a top on and you're gonna seal it tight, and the only time then that you'll smell it is when you open it. So my kids know about that. Anyway, here we go. 6 cups of red cabbage chopped. Again, could be green, could be a mix of both. This is your probiotic drink to support your good bacteria, your healthy microbiome, your healthy mind, your healthy organs, and a good bowel movement. Yes. And then we need also, I always wanted to be on screen and say that, you know, this is like a dream come true for me. Here we go. That's 2.5. And this is another cup. That makes 3.5 cups. All right. Now I'm going to blend. And in the moment when I blend, my wonderful husband's going to press mute so you don't have to hear this. All right. Here we go. Let's blend. Am I back? I'm back. You didn't have to hear that blending, right? So I blended it well, not over blend. These machines are really strong, so you don't want to go too long. I started on low, I went up, and just blend it so it's all pretty much a mush, like a cabbage smoothie. Ooh. So here we go. We're going to take a glass jar. Has to be glass, guys. No plastic, no stainless steel. Fermentation in glass. Pour it in here. Ooh, I love that color. And this is perfect because I wouldn't want it to go all the way to the top. If it goes all the way to the top, it's dangerous because what's going to happen is when it's fermenting, we can do that, looks so pretty. So again, it could be covered or not. I like to cover it because my kids don't like the smell. All right. We're going to cover it up, and this is what I was going to say. This, if it's up too high, it can, because fermentation starts a growth, right? And it can start to sweat and come all over the place. So it's good, you don't want it too low, but you want to have a little space. You close it, you could do an airtight container. And the thing is, now it needs 3 days. 3 days. You guys see me okay? Everything's good?
Yeah, I see you perfectly.
Perfect. 3 days at 70 degrees or warmer. Now, if I'm not cooking too warm, if we're getting into 95 degrees, this will only take 2 days. Fermentation has all to do with temperature. So this would not ferment in the refrigerator. You do 3 days at this kind of temperature. This is about 80 today, 85. And then after 3 days, you're going to open up your jar and you're going to strain it. I like to strain it through a milk bag or a cheesecloth, and you strain it, you squeeze, you end up with literally like that much pulp, and you can put that in your compost for your worms, and then you pour it back in a clean jar, and you're gonna put that with an airtight container. I love these, airtight or just tight like this at least, and put it in your refrigerator. That is your medicinal food. This is for 7 to 10 days. Now, what I like to think about is this. I want to tell you, the taste. The taste should be slightly acidic. It should be, ooh. And it should also feel some action on your tongue. You should feel, it's not like champagne, but you're getting there that you feel that action. That is really important. If it's flat, it's not fermented. So remember my ingredients. That's a chemistry. So think about it. It's 6 cups of cabbage to 3.5 cups of water. So you're almost doing half the amount of water. There is so much structured water, good lactobacillic bacteria in this cabbage. These cabbages were made for us to help us with our gut. Look at that. That is where it goes. It's from the ground, it gets all the good bacteria for you, and it gets it into your gut. So what do you think? You gonna make yourself some cabbage Rejuvenex? How about it? Go buy yourself some organic cabbage and make some today. You'll have it in 3 days, and you'll have it for a whole week to 10 days. One day, I'm gonna show you also that you can make seed cheeses, seed yogurts from this Rejuvenex. So it doesn't end here. The party's just beginning. Okay, so let's have a nice party in our gut. There's the recipe again, if you want to shoot a picture of it on your phone, if you want to write it down. I'm sure we're going to send it out and we're going to put it up. And it's on the internet also. This is wonderful stuff for you guys. All right, good for 7 to 10 days. You're going to enjoy it. People who I know don't like it, they slowly like it. Sometimes you gotta maybe want to water it down if you want. My husband didn't like it at first. Now he loves it. Yes. So cheers to you. Rejuvenex, to your health, to your gut health.
Thanks, Caroline.
Yeah.
It was very exciting. I have my Rejuvenex going right now.
Good, Michelle. Good.
So, yeah, we have a lot of questions that are coming in, and I'm going to start to ask you some of them. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So one that came up is Rejuvenex acidic or alkaline?
So that's a wonderful, wonderful question. It's interesting because it is acid, but it is a healthy acid because it actually helps your body get more alkaline. You need some acid in your body. You need that lactic acid for your cells, for your immune system, for your lymphatic system, for the fluids in your body. And this is the kind of acid you need, not pizza. That is a different kind of acidity for your body. So it is acid forming, and you're supposed to take in a little bit of acid every day. You guys know that. You're not supposed to be only alkaline, right? It's supposed to be, I think, 80% alkaline, 20% acidity. So 2 glasses a day of this would be great. Or and a couple spoonfuls of sauerkraut. I think we say anywhere between 2 and 6, depending on the person, a day. And you have enough acidity for your body that is going to promote more of an alkaline system. You understand?
Yeah, I think that's a perfect answer. We have somebody who's quite good at reading the manual, and they just noticed that your recipe was a little bit different than the manual.
Well, like I said, I doubled the recipe. I believe that the recipe in your manual for cabbage Rejuvenex is 3 cups of cabbage and 1 3/4 cup of water. So for me, 2 reasons why I told you I doubled the recipe to make sure you know, because if you did just 3 cups of cabbage, you would end up with only, this full of Rejuvenex, and most of you would want to drink this for the week, not just 1 glass. So I doubled the recipe for you. So it should be the same as what's in the original manual, right? Is that a good answer? Check.
Yeah. Some people said that fermented foods causes gas and discomfort.
Oh,
and
yes.
if they should continue to take them, or what should they do in those types of scenarios?
Okay. So when you first start eating this kind of food, it can do that, and it is not. I love this question because so many people, I think every group has this going on. And when they come and they go from what they were eating into this lifestyle that's full of a good amount of cultured food, what it does is it doesn't necessarily put gas in the system. It starts cleaning the body, and the body is full of gases. Most people have so much gases in their body because the bad bacteria, when they eat the sugars and starches, you know what they do is they spew out gas. And so this is in their guts. A lot of people, they say, oh, I'm so bloated and I'm bloated. They already bloated. And then when they eat this food, they say, oh, I'm more bloated, I'm more bloated. And we tell them, yeah, that's normal. And what you need is what? The big E. You need an enema because this will spew out all the old gases and the old poo-poos, and it begins the cleaning process. So the thing is, like you're saying, it starts at the beginning, but when your body gets cleaner, this does not do that as much. But what it will do is, yes, it will help move the junk out. It doesn't make gas, it moves old gases.
This has come up a couple times, and I'm actually here in Massachusetts. People wanted to know if you needed to ferment it longer in colder climates.
Yes, yes. So, and Michelle, you can let us know too. I used to go upstate New York, and I think I had to do it. I had to do it 5 days once, and it really depends. I know maybe Patricia's watching us too in France, and we were doing it in Belgium, and things weren't fermenting, and we'd go down in her basement because it was warm, and we'd say, we're going down to Puerto Rico, and we'd find the warmest place in our house. It can't be in the sun, okay? No direct sun, but you have to find a warm place in your house to do it. Michelle, how long does it take you to do yours?
It varies because, you know, the winter can be very cold.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to get a little bit warmer, but it's damp.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it takes about 5 or 6 days.
Yes.
And
right.
just
So
have
you test it. You know, you can, you know, take your jar. The smell is always the number one test. You smell and say, okay, it smells like it. And you can even put a spoon in and just taste it. Feel if you feel the fermentation. But yeah, it depends. You know, if you don't keep your house warm, you know, a lot of people keep their house cool, and then that will definitely take at least 5 days.
Yeah.
What else?
Some people are asking why, what does Rejuvenex do for your body that the wheatgrass and the green juices and the smoothies and all of the other core principles of the lifestyle, you know, why do you have to have the Rejuvenex?
Right. So if you remember my discussion about the culture, the pie, I you know, the food, the living food is part of it is cultured food, and so we don't ferment wheatgrass, and we do have energy soup that has a little fermentation, but salads aren't necessarily, they're not fermented, and the fermentation is what's bringing the good bacteria into your body. And we need to be full of good bacteria, because when the bad bacteria have too much bad bacteria, it will attack, make a reverse thing on our health, on our emotions, on our whole body, our digestion. If we don't have enough good bacteria, we can't have a strong immune system. You know, you can't live without a microbiome. And if you live with an unhealthy microbiome, you will be prone to all sorts of problems. Digestive issues, allergies, flus and sicknesses and all this stuff. You're made of bacteria, viruses, and fungi. That's what you're made of. But what I'm saying is you need to be mostly good bacteria. And so this puts it in you. This supports it and keeps it coming in you daily. All right? 2 times a day would be even better. It's a natural antibiotic in a way.
You know, some people are asking how often should they drink it? Twice a day?
Yeah, twice a day, two 8-ounce glasses is good. That would be perfect. But we also suggest some sauerkraut to get down into the colon. So this is just one of the fermented foods that we eat at the Institute and support people to go home and continue to make. This is one thing you can do to make your body stronger against viruses like the coronavirus, against bacteria, again, it's an antidepressant too. It's just extremely good for you and your immune system.
And it's very easy to do. It's very accessible.
You saw me. It's boom, boom, cabbage water, let it sit.
And
you can move it every day. Lalita tells some people, especially if we're in a warm climate, just go buy it every day and move it a little bit. Can you get me? I have one that's on its 2nd day. It's so beautiful. I'm going to show you. Well, I have a glass to show you, but I have a whole big one over on the other side of the kitchen. And I keep it going, you know, just continually. Once I make it, we drink it. When I'm starting to go low, I make a new one. And, you know, I try to drink it every day. Let me show you. Here's my one that I made yesterday. Look at the color, it changed color, you see? Isn't that beautiful?
And so the large one started off the same color as the small one.
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
exactly. Yep. And if I opened it up, my kids would say, what are you doing? And then I have this that's coming down from heaven. I'm going to have a sip right now. Oh my God. Oh my God. So I needed this right now.
You should. You know, when you talk about fermenting, a lot of people start thinking kombucha or miso or, other things along those lines. Could you talk about, what the difference is?
Oh, I'm dying to talk about kombucha. I'm so glad you said it, Michelle, and all you people who wrote it, okay? Kombucha is a business, and it was getting really big when I was living in Nashville, Tennessee, and I even said, I'm going to grow this because I was addicted. Anything that you're addicted to and you're like, got to get to the store and get my kombucha, you should know that that's the bad bacteria saying, bring it down. And you don't want to feed those bad bacteria. It is a mushroom and a fungi. And we don't believe in fermenting fungi. You can be a fungi without the fungi. And you also, when you make this kombucha, some of you have done it, you really should find out what you do. And it's the most disgusting looking thing. I'm sorry. It's a big mushroom, looks like a placenta. And you have to soak it in tea and you have to feed it sugar and it eats the sugar and ferments. That is not a good source of good bacteria. It is a big money-making business. People will tell you it's good for your gut. It is not good for your gut, okay? This is the original stuff. Rejuvenex and cabbage sauerkraut are the things that they used in ancient times, and it is the best thing. It is so cheap. Most of you can get a cabbage for a few dollars, yeah? That kombucha is a lot of money, and it is definitely not supporting good bacteria, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah. So is there anything, actually, some people are asking just even the top of the jar that you're using, because sometimes, they have like little holes in them, but you don't do that, do you?
Yeah, I mean, you can, like I said, you can just put a cheesecloth or something like this, and seal it up, but it is going to smell, and this does not need air. This doesn't need air to ferment. So you can cover it up and make it tight. There's no holes in this one, and it works great like that. You can even have, a airtight or a mason jar. Those work great.
And some people are asking about adding spices to the Rejuvenex. Is that something you recommend, or?
So I would recommend, I don't know what kind of spices they're thinking. What we can
cumin. There was somebody who said cumin or turmeric. I've often read that as well.
Okay, so turmeric, I mean, the real root, I would say more into the fresh original source of the food and not the powder. But I still would ferment it just like this, and then you can add a little turmeric juice. Just because this is a chemistry I know, I wouldn't mess with putting any powders or any other things in it. I know people, when we're making sauerkraut, you can add the chunks of turmeric, ginger, even garlic. We don't support eating too much garlic though, but once in a while is good for you as an antibiotic. So no, we don't put anything in. Once you're done, you can add things. You can put a little lime in, you can put ginger juice, you can water it down, anything to help you like the taste better. It is an acquired taste. I think, I think it's something that as your body gets healthier, it actually will crave. And I know that actually, because that's what's happened to me and many people I know. But some people have a really hard time with this at first. And so it takes time to get used to. And sometimes you just eat things because they're good for you. I hope some of you do that. And if you don't, you have to start, because this is something that really will get your motor running well.
You often recommend to people to have sauerkraut or Rejuvenex first thing in the morning, because some people were even asking, like, when do you recommend having that?
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't eat it. I mean, it's a digestive aid. I wouldn't drink it though while I eat, but an hour, half an hour before I eat is great. An hour after I eat, when the food doesn't feel like it's in my stomach anymore. You can drink it first thing in the morning. Really, you can drink it any time of the day. I mean, it gives some people energy. So it might not be the thing that you drink a big glass before you go to bed because you might feel more awake, right? It has a lot of enzymes in it, a lot of enzymes.
This is a question. We often use the word fermentation interchangeably for good and bad. So, you might refer to eating too much bad food and it ferments in your gut. And then we talk about fermentation, and in a good sense, meaning that we need to ferment this food. And I'm just wondering if you could kind of clarify the difference, because we use the word interchangeably.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that bloating that we were talking about, people feel bloated and or cramps. I mean, some people have back pain specifically because of their colon being full of gas. And what that is honestly, it has to do with the bad bacteria, the even parasites or viruses that are eating the sugars and spewing out gases. So fermentation is a natural thing that is in nature, and it's breaking down sugars. And so this is not the same kind of ferment. We ferment on the outside to actually help the inside not do that, to help move that out of our body. So, I mean, there's beer that's fermented and wine that's fermented and vinegar, and that stuff, none of that is good for us because it's acid, but it's too acid, right? This is acid, but it's not way over there on the acid level. And so it will help balance give good bacteria a big dose so that the bad bacteria are not feasting on the sugars and spewing out and fermenting. And, that's the beginning of really our bodies kind of breaking down when we have a lot of that fermentation in our body. It's dangerous.
Yeah. So there are so many questions, as always. It's really amazing and wonderful to see. And I know that both Lalita and Kailash have been just really typing and trying to get everybody's answers. And I was wondering if one of you wanted to come on, because I haven't been following while I've been talking. And Kailash, if there was any kind of general answers to questions that you wanted to share.
Or if Lalita wants to share anything, since she's also a colon queen.
Yes, she is. We're all colon therapists. But I don't want to distract them from what they're doing. I was saying, oh, there she is. Okay.
Hey, Lalita.
Wow.
Wow, a lot of questions, right?
There are a lot of questions. Yes, fermented food is extremely important for the microbiome. And the question are how many glasses I'm going to drink a day of Rejuvenex. And I said 2 glasses a day because we also ask the student to eat sauerkraut. But in this moment, if you have only Rejuvenex, you could drink 4 glasses a day because you are not eating another fermented food. Like Carolyn talked about microbiomes, they are extremely important. And we have to take care of them because they are so connected with the immune system. And then from today on, I will recommend you that you never maybe eat fermented food to incorporate Rejuvenex to your day. This is just a wonderful present, this Rejuvenex, because it's so easy to prepare. And then from today on, you can improve your microbiome drinking Rejuvenex. This is what I want to add. And also, I want to say something, Carolyn. It's about when you prepare the Rejuvenex and you leave a space in the glass that the Rejuvenex didn't go to the top. Carolyn mentioned that I like to shake a little bit the Rejuvenex once or twice a day, right? You did like that. But I want to explain that if the surface is so quiet, sometimes develop mold, and especially when it's so hot. And that happens sometimes. And then to prevent that is because I want to shake twice a day. Because you mentioned me, I want to say what I'm doing. Okay?
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, teacher.
Thanks, Lalita. Yeah, so we're getting close to the top of the hour, and we are going to close it down soon, but I do want to announce just a couple of things. We're going to have another webinar next week, and that will be led by Kailash. And Kailash has joined us, so I don't know if you wanted to say anything, Kailash?
Yes, next week we will do a breath-centered practice, which can be done in a chair. And it is really designed to strengthen the immune system based on a study that just came out. So I'm very excited to share this next week based on new information, a study I've been reading and following. I'm very excited about that. Be next week, breath-centered movements with a meditation also.
Okay, great. And yeah, so we'll be here next week. So just some logistics that everybody keeps mentioning. All of the recordings are posted to the Facebook page, the Ann Wigmore Natural Health Institute Facebook page. So if you're not a friend, you should friend us. And if you're not on our mailing list, you should go to the website and sign up for the mailing list, because we also send out an announcement that the webinar is happening. And then after the webinar is finished, we send out a recording, which requires registration as well. And then eventually we do post it to our YouTube channel. So that's something down the road that you might be able to see when we're done with this series. And then we also sent out an email blast this morning. If you haven't seen it, do check your email box. Just giving an overview to the offerings for private consultation. So all the teachers are available for private consultation. And the way the process looks right now is, if you're interested, you can email info@annwigmore.org, or you can call the number and you'll get in touch with Betsy, the receptionist, who's not here right now, but some of you might know who she is, and she'll coordinate and schedule an appointment with one of the teachers. And you can, of course, request who you'd like to speak with, but if they're not available, somebody else will support you. And then in the meantime, we've been meeting and working very hard to put together an online program. And more information will be revealed at our next webinar as to what that's going to look like. But it is exciting, and we're looking forward to finding a great group of people to launch this first online virtual experience of the Ann Wigmore Natural Health Institute. So you're all on screen, so I just wanted to let you know if you wanted to say anything final. And thank you, Caroline, so much for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much, everyone. I wish I could see your faces. It's a real change to talk to a computer screen.
It is.
Yeah. But I really appreciate all the good feedback or positive criticism, and I'm very grateful to have these three wonderful teachers today and every week in my life, and for this, that we want to really help you succeed in your life and feel good and obtain health. And thank you again, Michelle and Lalita and Kailash.
All right, bye. I'm going to.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.